Do you feel any differently about the game since you've been back?
Quite a bit differently. I really enjoy the experience now. I enjoy traveling. I appreciate all these tournaments, and I appreciate being able to play against these top athletes and some of the best athletes in the world, and having the opportunity to compete against them and sometimes win. And before my layoff, I was more resentful. I didn't have that respect for the game that I should have had. And going to the tournaments now, I definitely appreciate what I'm able to do.
You're actively involved in handball and travel from city to city, playing pro handball and webcasting all of the top events while giving clinics at each stop. How do you flip the switch between the competitive you and the handball ambassador?
That's very difficult, and I struggle with that at each tournament, because it takes a lot of energy to webcast and to give clinics, and also you're in a different frame of mind compared to when you go onto the court and you try and compete, and you have to be intense and you have to be there trying to win. So it's definitely something that I try to balance and that I struggle with, but at the same time I definitely love to support the game and do whatever I can to improve the tournaments and also the webcasts.
You beat John Lenning and Dave Chapman at a pro stop in New York. Can you tap into that energy again to take down the top contenders at the Nationals?
I think it's definitely there. It's a matter of bringing my best game and peaking at the right time. I was fortunate enough a couple years ago to play my best handball when I played Sean and then Dave in the finals here at the NYC. I haven't been able to replicate that since, but I definitely feel like that's within my capabilities, and I'm aiming towards taking down those top players at the Nationals.
Would you rather be known for webcasting and being an ambassador, or being a champion?
Well, selfishly, I'd certainly rather be known as a champion. My goal has always been to win a Nationals and be #1. At the same time, the webcasting and becoming an ambassador of the sport was something that's come about in the last couple of years, and I've really embraced that. So at the end of the day, I'd like to say that what I did helped to grow the game of handball in any way.
You are one of the inventors behind the WPH Simple Green Race for 8. Will the hype leading up to this event be matched by the results?
Absolutely. There's been a lot of talk from all the cities I've traveled to since we debuted this Pro Tour format, from Atlanta to Tennessee to California and Idaho, and a lot of these cities and players are extremely excited about this format, which will invite the top 8 pros and qualify 4 more, all leading up to a final showdown for the top 8 invited pros. So it's an incredibly exciting concept, and I see people buying into it in every city that I attend.
Now, Race for 8 stops in Salt Lake City. What is special about this stop?
Well, Salt Lake City has a tremendous handball community. I was fortunate to travel through there on the bike tour in 2008 with Dave Vincent and Emmett Pashot. We put on clinics, and we also played in their event, and it's an amazing club. There's incredible passion there for the sport, and I know they're very excited about hosting us there, and I'm certainly excited about returning back there to see Lon Stalsberg, the director, and also his son Matt and the rest of the group there in Salt Lake City.
Every player has a different approach to training. How do you prepare for your tournaments?
Well, I like to allocate about 2.5 hours a day, every day, leading up to a tournament for about 4 weeks. So I like to go into the court and practice by myself for about an hour, and then I'll go and either lift weights or do some sort of cardio workout. I also play other sports. I play tennis, and that's a good cross-training exercise for me as well. But I like to really visualize what I'd like to do on the court, how I'm hitting the ball, who I might be playing, and what it will feel like to win. And that motivates me a lot.
Handball has a problem with toggling between those that take the sport seriously and those that look at it like a hobby. How do you cope living in these two worlds?
Well, that's difficult because, I'm somebody that's very passionate about the sport, and I want to see the sport really expand and grow and explode. And there's other people that play the game just because they love the entertainment or the excitement or the actual just the hobby of playing the sport. So I try and embrace both sides. I know that there's quite a few people that just do look at the game as a hobby and something to do a couple times a week, and there's other that are a smaller minority like myself and Dave Vincent that look at this game as more than that.
You are known as the most passionate, intense player on the tour. How does this affect your game?
Well, there's a certain balance there. If I'm too intense, I tend to lose control of my emotions and my game falls apart. And if I'm not intense enough, I tend to be a little bit flat and lethargic on the court. So for me, it's about finding that area where I'm still really intense and wanting to win and playing as hard as I can, but not going past that threshold to where I lose control of my emotions.
And when you're done with the game and you hang up your pro gloves, what would you like people to remember you by?
Well, certainly I'd like to have one national championship to my name, at least. That would be my goal. Aside from that, I'd like to be known as a great player and somebody that represented the sport well, both on and off the court.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.